Good morning, everyone. Can I please get your attention for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the NAIOP Southern Nevada Breakfast Program. I'm Matthew Hoyt, and I have the privilege of serving as your chapter president this year. Good morning to everyone here in attendance at the Orleans and everyone joining by Zoom. For all of you that are here in the room, you'll find notepads at your tables. Please write down any questions you have during the program, and Dan Tuntland on the Programs Committee will collect them for our Q&A session, which will wrap up our program from 9 o'clock to 9:15. Today we have some very special guests in our attendance. I'd like to recognize our elected officials in the room today. Please stand and be recognized. City of Henderson Mayor Michelle Romero. City of Las Vegas Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. City of North Las Vegas Mayor Pamela Goins Brown. And City of North Las Vegas Councilman Isaac Barone. Thank you for being here today. We also want to recognize our UNLV students attending today. I'm told we have 8 students in attendance today. If you're a student, please stand and welcome to NAIOP. To our members, please take the time to introduce yourself to the students today. They're the future of our industry. Let's take a moment to honor our President's Circle sponsors. They're a critical component to the success of our NAIOP chapter. This year, we have 5 platinum sponsors. A special thank you to each one. City of North Las Vegas, a new platinum sponsor this year. Cox Business has supported our chapter for 21 years. Gatsky Commercial since 2022. Martin Harris Construction since 2001. And Schnitzer Properties since 2000. Thank you to our platinum sponsors. We also want to say thank you to our 9 gold sponsors. We have 9 this month. That was up from 8 last month, so we're very excited. Burke Construction Group, Clark County Community and Economic Development, EBS Realty Partners, Heller Companies, Howard Hughes, Kimley Horn and Associates, Majestic Realty Company, Prologis, and the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Thank you to our 9 gold sponsors this year. Now please check out the screen as we recognize our silver sponsors, our bronze sponsors, and our copper level President's Circle sponsors. Thank you to all of our President's Circle sponsors this year. I'm still happy to report that support from our President's Circle sponsors has reached an all-time high in 2025. If you're not a President's Circle sponsor, now is still a great time to join. If interested, please stop by the registration table for a package or talk to myself, Lisa Brady at Prologis, Katrina or Jonna. I'd like to say a quick congratulations to our 2025 Dolly graduating class. Earlier this month, our 2025 Dolly class graduated. Dolly is the Developing Organizational Leadership Institute, is designed to develop effective leaders within the NAIOP membership and provide leadership skills applicable to professional, volunteer, and personal life. There's no age limit for the program. If you're a 2025 Dolly graduate, please stand and be recognized. And now to our committee announcements. May I please have representatives from the bus tour, community service, education, and membership committees to the microphone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tyson O'Neill with CBRE. I'm up here on behalf of the bus tour committee. 2025 bus tour is finalized date, November 13th, and our theme this year is finding the golden ticket. Property submissions are due by July 8th, and be on the lookout for sponsorship opportunities within the next 2 weeks. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Christina White, and I'm with Green Vision Sustainable Design. I'm new to the Community Service Committee, so part of the ritual hazing is I'm forced to come do this. I mean, I volunteered. So next month, our back-to-school supply drive for Hollingsworth STEAM Academy will start. You can bring your donations to the July or the August breakfast. And then in August, we'll also be doing a program where we go to the elementary school and read to the kids. You can bring your favorite kids book and read to the kids. So it'd be great if everyone could participate in that, because the teachers have told us that those supplies are what gets them through the year. And be on the lookout for the email with more details and the Amazon wish list. And now I need you all to clap really loud so that Megan doesn't take me outside and beat me after I'm done here. Thank you.
Good morning, NAOP. Hey, I'm Art Green with Geotechnical Environmental Services. I want to talk to you about all the great things that happen when you're a member. Only when you're a member can you be a sponsor of a NAOP event. And some of these events are coming up. We have the social event of the year coming up in September. All right, when we have memberships or sponsorships starting at just $500, going up potentially all the way up to $2,000. So we have exposure for you based on any one of your marketing budget levels. But just as fun, we have the NAOP bowling tournament. And if you want to put together a team, that's great, because you must have one NAOP member on your team. So if you're a member of NAOP, that's fantastic. If you're not a member of NAOP, I'm sad for you. But you can come see me after the breakfast and we can solve this right away. Art Green, would you? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to announce on behalf of the Education Committee, we have an exclusive members-only program coming up in August. Our legislative session recap deep dive on Friday, August 8th at the Las Vegas Realtors, 9 a.m. Please watch your email for details. And yeah, the Education Committee is doing great things. You have to be a member for those education sessions. So please join, as Art said. Each month, we like to recognize our new members. If you're a new member, please stand and welcome to NAOP. Everyone, if you see a red ribbon on name tags, please be sure to welcome our new members. I'm happy to report that we're ranked as the 9th largest NAOP chapter, currently 741 members strong. A quick thank you to our membership committee for continuing to tout the value of NAOP membership. If you've never been a member, now's the time to join. With over 260 people in the room here today on a holiday, albeit 260 in the room. We have continued record attendance at our events. There's never been a better time to be a NAOP member. There's a few ways to join. You can stop at the registration table for an application. You can visit our website and join online. You can call the NAOP office or reach out to anyone with the membership committee ribbon on their name tag today. We'd also like to thank our 2025 breakfast meeting sponsors: American Nevada Realty, Carpenters Sellers Delgado Architects, City of North Las Vegas, Cox Business, Martin Harris Construction, NV Energy, Panattoni Development, Schnitzer Properties, Southern Nevada Water Authority, the Whiting Turner Contracting Company, and our Wi-Fi sponsor, Gatsky Commercial. And a special thank you to this morning's meeting sponsor, NV Energy, who is also a silver level President's Circle sponsor. I'd like to call Chad Jacks to the stage, Business Development Executive. Please come to the stage, Chad.
Good morning, everyone. Perfect. Okay. As Matt mentioned, I'm Chad Jacks, the NV Energy Business Development Executive in Southern Nevada. Most of you know me as is NV Energy in the room this morning. So today, thanks, NAIA, for having us. We really appreciate being here and working with all of you. Today, we're going to go ahead and cover these topics very quickly here in 2 minutes. So hopefully you glean something here that's educational. Earlier this year, we filed a rate case for a 9% increase, which is scheduled to go into effect in October. With that in mind, we do want you to know that our rates are scheduled to be lower at the end of 2025 than they are at the end of, than they were at the end of 2024. We're also still lower than California's rates by 61%, the Mountain States by 7%, and the U.S. national average by 23%. These are some of the resources that we offer for the development community. We have our economic development website. We've got energy efficiency incentives. We've got a rate comparison tool, just to name a few. I'm going to go ahead and get into our discovery package process now. There we go. For your industrial projects that are 1 to 10 megawatts, what we need to basically give you power availability is your peak demand in kilowatts or megawatts, your project's location, and your requested in-service date. With this information, we can tell you the source substation, the length of the feeder, as well as the timeline of the project for energization. The next natural step here would be for a ballpark cost estimate for us to create. That takes about 30 days, and that'll give you the pricing as well as the package to take with you and utilize if you need to. We're going to get into a little bit of physics this morning. How am I doing on time? So basically, the point of this slide here is that Watt's law equals watts equals amps times volts. Amps times volts. To get to amps, to get from amps to kilowatts, which is the language that we speak, you simply multiply amps and volts and then divide by 1,000. Or you can Google that right there, or you can just go ahead and give me a call. This is where it gets a little thick. So our transmission discovery package, this is going to be for those industrial projects that are larger than 10 megawatts. So in order to get those going for you, what we need is a transmission project data sheet. Oh, there we go. Project data sheet completed by you, an executed engineering study agreement, and a $50,000 advance. The results of that will be the study results, cost estimates, and potential refunds, as well as the project schedule. The next step beyond that would be executing a high voltage distribution agreement with NV Energy, which may require full payment up front and an energy supply agreement. We're currently running 10 to 12 months for completion of those studies as well. And the last slide. We offer several rebate incentive programs. This one here is highlighting the new construction program. We did increase our incentive this year to 7 cents per kilowatt hour. We can review your project with a performance-based approach with eQuest or Energy Plus energy models, and that should result in larger incentives and savings for your project. Below there are some other incentives that we offer for retrofits. We also offer lunch and learns on a monthly basis. And that should do it. So thank you very much, NAIOP. We appreciate your business and partnership. NV Energy is here for you. Please feel free to come talk to me if you have any questions. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you once again to NV Energy. As you all know, our programs committee has been putting out the best programs in the business, and one of the reasons our programs are so outstanding is our audience participation. This is one last reminder. We have a Q&A session at the end of the program for our in-person attendees. There are pens and paper at your tables, which will be collected. Q&A starts at 9 a.m. and our program concludes at 9:15. So let's segue into today's program. Today, our program is titled Deals, Dirt, and Development, Southern Nevada Brokers Driving Growth. I'm pleased to introduce our moderator, Terri Sheridan, a Platinum President's Circle sponsor with the City of North Las Vegas and a respected leader in the region's economic development landscape. Over her 19-year career as Director of Economic Development, Terri has been instrumental in driving business growth and attracting major employers to key industrial corridors, most notably in the Speedway area and more recently at Apex. Each day, Terri and her team work to create new job opportunities in North Las Vegas by assisting companies who are relocating to or expanding within the city. She collaborates closely with regional development partners and the brokerage community to help ensure the long-term success of these developments. Terri joined the North Las Vegas Economic Development Team in 2006 following her time at Nevada Development Authority, now known as Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration Management from Western New England University in Springfield, Massachusetts. With deep ties to the brokerage community and a career dedicated to economic development, Terri is the perfect moderator for today's discussion. Please join me in welcoming Terri Sheridan to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Wow, that makes me sound really good. Good morning, everyone. My first time doing this, so I'm just going to throw that out as a caveat. And Mike just, oh, there we go. Sit down so we can make sure that it works. My goal here is to kind of keep us on track, have a conversation. I'm going to turn my back and I'm going to talk to my panelists and just forget y'all are out here. But it's all well and good. I'm super excited to be here, and I just want to say good morning to everyone and thank you for spending your morning with us. I'm honored to be the moderator of what is going to be a powerhouse panel of brokers that will be joining me here on the stage. Our goal today is to dive into some thought-provoking conversation, bring up some discussions around deals, dirt, and development. I feel like we should have worn coveralls because we're talking about dirt, with our panelists and share their valuable insights on development and opportunities and projects that are happening in and around the valley. I will tell you, as Economic Development Director for North Las Vegas, I kind of live in my little fishbowl called the City of North Las Vegas, so I don't get out much. I don't get out as much as I used to. But this is an opportunity for me to learn, along with all of you, what's happening not only all around the valley. I'll throw in some nuggets on what's happening within the City of North Las Vegas because I can, and because I have the microphone, and then because I have my mayor present, so I want to let her know that we're getting things done. Additionally, I'm joined by several members of our economic development team, and so I don't do this alone. We don't do this alone. We are absolutely collaborative, not only with our city staff, elected officials, but all of you in the room as well. So again, thank you for being here and part of the conversation. So I'm going to cheat. I have my notes and my questions written down so I can help us keep on track. So now I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and introduce our panelists. They're going to join me here on stage, and we decided we're just going to go alphabetical. Keep it easy that way. So ladies first, I'm going to start with Tonya. If Tonya, you want to come up and join me on the stage, I will read her bio. Tonya is Vice President with CBRE Las Vegas with more than 2 decades of commercial real estate experience. Tonya specializes in office brokerage in the Southern Nevada market. Her clients benefit from her seasoned expertise across a variety of office transaction types, including owner, user sales, investment sales, build-to-suits, tenant representation, and agency landlord assignments. Tonya is an avid runner and enjoys spending time with her 3 girls and her husband. Some of us might know who that is. So, welcome, Tonya. Lexis. Chris is a principal and shareholder at Avison Young. Chris started his career in 2004 at Lee & Associates, where he soon became the youngest broker in the office to hold the title of vice president and principal. In March of 2013, Chris joined at Avison Young as vice president and quickly became principal and shareholder. Chris represents industrial property owners, investors, buyers, and tenants, and currently markets a number of industrial projects in the Valley. Chris also has expertise in land use, planning, and zoning within all of the Vegas Valley's municipalities. Welcome, Chris. And finally, but certainly not least, Jason Otter. Jason? Jason is a shareholder, partner, and leader of Otter Retail and Investments team at Logic Commercial Real Estate, where he specializes in investment sales and retail leasing. With over 18 years of retail brokerage and development experience, Jason has amassed an impressive career, transaction volume exceeding $1.1 billion. Jason, you're buying lunch. Jason's notable client portfolio includes Rialto Capital, LNR Partners, Ovation Development, Shin Yen Management, Cafe Zupas, Planet Fitness, and Zippy's Hawaiian. Please join me in welcoming this dynamic group of leaders. We've got your usual questions lined up. We'll dive into those in a minute. But I texted the group last night and I said I'm going to have an icebreaker, just to create some fun and some fun conversation in the morning. So I asked them all, if you had a broker superpower, what would it be and why? Tonya?
It was a great question. Thank you, everyone, for having me. I would be clairvoyant, and it would be nice to see what's ahead and what's happening from where's the best land, when to buy the best land, how to represent what buyers are in the market, what tenants are in the market, when something coming available for agency work. And I think I can speak probably for all of us that what client's going to waste our time. So I also think that, hopefully that would carry over into the home life, and I could know what my husband, Reed, is thinking, which all of you know, sometimes he can be a little bit difficult, and I have to say that because I have the mic, so a little hazing there.
I'll say that.
There you go.
I can say that.
Are you on?
Well, I turned it on.
Up.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
There it is. Oh, it's good it was off because I was saying Rita is difficult. Yes. So that's an easy question for me. Or look, Professor X all day long, I could take care of a lot of those problems because I could get into the head. And all I'm asking for is sellers to be reasonable in this market. If I could enter their head, show them the comps, and just reason with them. So, Professor X.
There you go.
Yeah.
New nickname. Jason.
What was it again?
If you had a superpower as a broker, what would it be?
As a broker, as an individual, I just like to put my hands together and freeze time. Outside of your health, time is the biggest commodity, especially in this business. And every day we ain't getting any more of it, so enjoy it while you got it here. And everybody, it takes a lot of your time, and it would be nice to freeze it, focus really what's important that day, and really weed out a lot of the other items that are going to take you down a rabbit hole and try to just get stuff done.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to. Got our IT people in the back or our audio visual. You put it closer to your mouth.
See, I would freeze time right now and fix this.
Right?
There we go. Maybe.
Maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. I'll take a stab at it as well. So not necessarily a broker superpower, but if I had a superpower, I think I'm with Tonya as far as being clairvoyant. You'd like to know when you're talking to those site selectors, I want to know who they are. enough of the project names and, coming in under the guise of, Project Avocado or something along those lines. Just, tell us who you are so we can just really understand the project, understand your needs, and help get you to yes. The other would be, I think it would be, the superheroes of the day, and, how you can just, like what you say, Jason, freeze time. I don't want to freeze the world, but I want to just, let's create rain and have Mother Nature just fill up that pond called Lake Mead, so none of us ever have to worry about it again. So if I had a superpower, I think I would, want to take care of Mother Nature, encourage her to provide for all of us what we need here in the Valley, or more of what we need here in the Valley. So that would be mine. So there you go. Take it back to the office. Ask everybody if they had a superpower, what would it be, and we'll go from there. And then I don't know if we have slides that are going to be kind of cycling through while everyone's talking, but Tonya, Chris, and Jason prepared slides that highlight recent notable property sales. So whether those are going to be showing up, or they can probably touch on projects as we have our discussion here, but just wanted to let you know that those might be cycling through, and you'll be seeing those on the screen as well. So, all right, let's get into it. Now, this isn't going to be the North Las Vegas show, although I'd like it to be. We'll come back and do that maybe another time, where we'll tell you, we'll dive deep and let you know what's happening within the city of North Las Vegas. I absolutely will interject where I can and create some excitement for things that are happening within our city. Again, I have the microphone, so I'm going to do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to, Jason, Chris, and Tonya, they all are touching all of the municipalities. So we're all here to talk about Southern Nevada and what's happening within our community. So dive into the meat of the questions. We'll get into some fun questions, but just to provide you all just some information, I'll toss out the first question. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a two-parter, but just as far as if I were to ask which asset classes or submarkets are currently seeing the most momentum and why, and then we'll do a follow-up with, which submarkets within Southern Nevada are currently attracting the most investor interest and why. So most activity, most momentum and why, and investor interest. So Tonya, we'll start with you. We'll bounce across to each of the panel, and then we'll just have a conversation.
Well, it's been the same story for a while for office, and it's the Southwest submarket is the strongest. That has to do with the location on the 215 Beltway. And, what I'm going to call the new Main and Main, you're between two master plan communities of both Summerlin and Henderson. We see all of these buildings going up, a lot of industrial. I would prefer there to be office, but that's okay. But, we have Narrative, Uncommon, Central Point, all of these office projects have done very well for the community and for our market. I think that, as far as pricing, you're going to hit the higher prices in that location just based on location. On the west side, Summerlin's done very well. Howard Hughes has done great with those office buildings. I mean, that's image and location and walkability, which some of the office projects in Nevada or Las Vegas, we're a driving community. I'm office at Uncommons. It's a great project. There is some walkability, but at the end of the day, we get tired of going to the same place for lunch and you drive. So, that's always a factor too, the ease of getting in and out of a project, ease of like where the amenities are. And then you have Henderson, which it's slower. It's an older product because it's an older city, and there's some larger buildings that are over 40,000 square feet that owners have tried to lease, and now they're selling to owner users. So, and then on the investor side, I would say that there's not a lot of investors coming to Las Vegas. I think just from an office standpoint, I would say a little bit of the Southwest, but it has to pencil for whatever investors coming in, and whether they want value add, whether they want new. But, there's been a lot of office buildings that have been on the market that unfortunately there haven't been any investors to eat them up.
So some market for industrial is the West Henderson and Southwest, mainly due to what Tonya just mentioned, close to the highway, newer, Main and Main. And more specific, it's under the 50,000 square foot in flex spaces that has the momentum right now. And when I say momentum, we're actually pushing rates on the lease side, and we're breaking comps, on for sale product. Good testament to that is Colliers has a project, SD Habit on Sunset and Decatur. They're pushing, they're asking at $315 a foot for 20,000 square foot in that market. Beatty in the Southwest, they're pushing rates above 300 on a for sale. And we actually just rolled out new flex space. We got a new unit back at Mark IV. The location on that one is Sunset and Rainbow, and we're at $2 now. So momentum's there in those submarkets. And as far as investors, as I said, Professor X, and as you mentioned, office buildings have hit the market. There's just a little bit of a disconnect between where sellers are at right now and investors. We're having weekly conversation with investors to get into the market. The capital's there, but where lending's at right now, there's just a small delta. But let me tell you, deals are getting done. We actually just did in North Las Vegas. I didn't do, but Colliers' regional team just sold 1 million square foot, 3 building, and that one just got completed. And then Dalphin just picked up a project off of Decatur and Russell. And these cap rates are still aggressive. The one in the Southwest was at a 5.22 cap. And they got seller financing to make that deal happen for the majority of that. So
Just the fact that buildings are and developers are actually selling buildings is a change from previous, right? It would be hold, lease, and have a tenant in there for, I don't want to say perpetuity, but for many, many years. But now the appetite to actually sell is kind of taken a turn, and then we do have those larger end users, whether they be manufacturers, someone that's going to come in and make the investment into the building and they want to buy. But developers and landowners are actually contemplating that these days.
correct.
Exciting stuff. Jason?
For retail, on the retail investment side of things, investors really don't care what corridor. For us, it's really what's the cap rate, what's the tenant mix, what's the credit of the tenant, and are they paying market rents or not. So retail investors will look at any corridor, really just based off of those things I just said. And in regards to retail tenants, they really want to know where the rooftops are, where the density is. So, Southwest is obviously a great growing market. West Henderson's a great growing market. Sky Canyon's one that, I know everybody's heard the term, but a lot of people don't really pay a lot of attention to. And retailers have opportunities to get into Sky Canyon. And it's getting very dense, along North Las Vegas, Centennial Corridor, back on Sky Canyon, that Smith's Marketplace. When that deal got done, everybody laughed at where the hell is that, And so, and it was only not even a 180-degree trade corridor at the time. And if you look at the Placer data, that's Smith's out of all the Kroger Smiths, there's 150 of them. That's number one. And you drive up Sky Canyon, it's filling in, very, very drastically. So that's a corridor for retail expansion and new to market tenants that they're starting to really look at that they didn't even know anything about before.
Yeah, you touch on groceries, and I know that's kind of all the rage right now, all the different grocers that are coming to town, whether it be H Mart, and I know I just passed another one on Decatur as I drove in. Just different opportunities and options for our residents. I'm from the Midwest originally, so Aldi was not a brand that I was unfamiliar with, so it's nice to see them in the market. A different type of grocer, maybe lower cost, smaller footprint, but again, it's offering opportunities for our residents and the community. I think it's important to note that as well, what Jason just said, Smith's is number one at Sky Canyon. We have a Smith's Marketplace that will be opening up within the city of North Las Vegas. We hope it to be just as well-traveled and shopped. But I think it's being able to have the options. And if that Smith's and Sky Canyon was number one, the Aldi's grand opening in Henderson was one of their best performing.
There's 3 Aldi's open, 4th one soon. But the one at Sunset and Marks that opened about a month and a half ago, that's the best opening in all the system for them. Number 2 was the Aldi's deal on Craig. So, they're definitely still active. The grocery corridor, H Mart had an amazing opening, and they didn't come here just to do one location. Grocery Outlet's been actively expanding. Mariana's is going to be under construction to double their footprint over off Flamingo and Pecos. So, grocery is definitely a very active retail sector.
Follow up real quick. ICSC just happened. So did deals actually get done at ICSC this year?
ICSC is at to the point to where people go into there going, deals don't get done here like they used to. And they actually, it's more for just getting that face time, having those collisions, in between the halls, running back from North Hall to South Hall, not realizing Central Hall is under construction. So for all my retail folks here, it sucked and you know it. So, but it's really become just back down to the basics of our industry, and especially in brokerage. It's relationships, and it's getting the face time with the real estate managers, investors, the retailers as well. And so you definitely advance deals there, but also with technology, we don't need to bring an actual executable copy of a lease to have it mutually signed right there in front of everybody. So it was still very well attended, and there was a good overall energy there.
No, it's good to have it back and back in full speed, and then utilizing the new convention center, which is wonderful as well. What's the general feedback from investors looking for deals in Southern Nevada? Are they cautiously optimistic? Are they bullish on deals?
I think that most investors are just taking time. I mean, every deal that comes along, whether it's a lease or sale, it's taking more time than, obviously what I would like it to be, but it is taking time. Now, I haven't seen a lot of investors, but the owner-user market is very strong here in Las Vegas. We, my partner Ryan and I, we represent an owner, David Inman, who has done office condos for the past 30 years. That's his only product. He builds gray shell office, and he sells them. And traditionally it's been one story. So we started working with him in 21, and prices at that time were $250, and these are all of our Southwest projects. And now we're completing a project off of Buffalo and Sunset, and those prices are $350 to $385 per square foot on the gray shell. We will have another project coming up in the Southwest that will close the land probably in the fourth quarter of 25, and that will be upwards of $450 a square foot. So while the investor side isn't very active, the owner-user side is very active, and our buyers are businesses that are going to hold long-term. It's the medical and the attorneys. We're seeing about 50% of each of those who are purchasing these buildings. And I believe that if we were to hold it a little bit longer, once we started construction, because we'd be able to sell these before we either break ground, either right when we break ground or before we break ground, we probably could have pushed pricing a little bit more. And Chris mentioned that SD Habitat, mid 300s, and Pioneer is $315 a square foot. I mean, we're seeing a lot of those, and those are in the Southwest. So those prices are very comparable to office prices, and we're seeing that with the lease rates too in industrial. I mean, they're comparable to some of the office pricing, which I don't know if I love, but it is what it is. And office is always a little bit behind, is glamorous than retail and industrial.
I don't know, there's been some pretty glamorous office projects that have been being built, so give credit where credit's due. It's great work. What about you, Chris, as far as the feedback from investors?
As I stated before, we're talking weekly to investors. There's a lot of capital on the sidelines. We're just trying to put together creative deals. As I mentioned, the doubtful one that got done, that was seller carry. That's how investment deals are getting done right now. So there's a disconnect, and there's not a lot of velocity sellers hitting the market with deals either. So investors are there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Is the industrial market still king?
It is still king. 100%. But I will say Tonya has been crushing it, you and your team, with David Inman and some of
we've
these
been very
projects.
lucky.
It's unbelievable on the office side.
Yeah, love to
Seems
see
like
what's happening in the Southwest.
They got a black cloud for office. I don't see where it's at. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pushing
I know.
rates too.
Yeah.
Would you just quote 450?
$450 on gray shell.
And Laporte's quoting 600 for his
yeah.
project.
And then Bridget's doing on Jones, I think, a little over 4. So I want those to sell because then that just makes our comp look better.
Well, and then you have retail that's being converted in, or commercial that's being converted into office, in Henderson with what's happening out at, I call it the Green Valley Corporate Center. And,
The Cliff? Yeah.
Yeah, they took office square
the
footage
table.
out of Henderson for us.
No, it's good. Yeah, on the retail side of things, a lot of our investors are Southern California, and I think, very similar to probably for an office and industrial. And the cap rates are just too low. And it used to be that there was maybe 150 to 200 basis point savings in buying a triple net building, retail, fast food restaurant here in Southern Nevada as compared to Southern California. And that's not the case anymore. So now it's, you buy something here, it's 4, 3/4, 5, 5.25 cap, and that's the same cap that somebody can get, right close to their home in Southern California. So they're waiting for those caps to adjust. And to Chris's point, I've never seen so much capital on the sidelines. I mean, the amount of not only private investors, but institutional investors that are very bullish on our market, they're just waiting for a little bit of dip to feel there's a little bit of value to place that capital here, and they haven't seen it yet.
Oh, great, thank you. So if you were to look at other opportunities or look at what opportunities exist within your sector, just whether it be office or industrial, commercial, I think we've touched on some of that. But if you wanted to dive deeper, is there a specific segment or sector within your market that we could be going after?
Well, we can always use more land to build owner-user product or office buildings. I think that, with tenants coming, buyers coming, there's just a lack of product a little bit. And then, medical is huge. I think there's a huge opportunity there. The hospital systems, the majority of them are building additional medical office buildings because they have the land attached to their hospital. And, we're still not a hospital-based town. We are seeing Intermountain build some pediatric. They took on a building to do clinical. Optum took on a building in Henderson to have a clinical service providers there, kind of a one-stop shop. We've seen the Culinary Union build their different 100,000 square foot buildings for all of their medical providers. They have one in North Las Vegas, actually, off Craig. So I think that medical is a huge opportunity in our town. I mean, I'd like to see it, not the old saying of, where do you go for medical care? It's not Harry Reid anymore, but I still say it. But to the airport, I would love to see that not happen. But it is difficult to bring providers to this town, regardless of, it being private practice-based, in a sense where specialty doctors can actually have their own practice, build their own surgery center, and they can do very well here, unlike other markets.
Well, and that's where I'll jump into there, because as far as land and opportunity, we do have a small piece of land in North Las Vegas, the 135 acres adjacent to the VA, that where Cambridge and a representative from Cambridge is here this morning. They are actively pursuing, talking, having those conversations with those hospital groups, with those surgical centers, medical office buildings, hospital campus. City of North Las Vegas, we don't have a general services hospital, so we need a general services hospital, and I would hope to say within the next 10 years you'll see great things happening on that particular piece of dirt, and whether it be additional retail components. So could that be our version of what's happening in the Southwest? So, think Southwest today, but Northeast for the future, with what is happening in and around that area. And then you talk about land, and there is additional land opportunity within the city of North Las Vegas. We just need to work with our friends at the BLM to clean it up and make it available for sale, and or just for future development. So stay tuned on that one then as well. But no, great, thank you, and for the segue into our 135 acres. So my little commercial in there.
I did that for you.
Thank you. I'll get to Apex too, but go ahead, Chris.
So on to the medical before I
Yeah.
go on. I reached out to Roseman University. We sold all their land there in Henderson. They were going to move their campus up to Summerlin. However, they just put in an accreditation for a veterinarian school at their Henderson location. So that's coming online.
Yeah.
So I don't get to sell the building, but they're bringing in a new medical.
Animal
Selling the
hospitals.
building.
Logan's
Yeah.
go.
Exactly. But look, there's opportunities all around. I'll start with the infill first. It's a lot of the municipalities are here today. It's about going back through, changing master plans, changing land uses, opening it up for commercial. We just went through a zone change in the southwest off of Jones and Blue Diamond area. And it's a natural, it's surrounded by industrial, it's in the RMP. We just converted that to light industrial. So there's opportunities infill that are coming. And then as far as El Dorado Valley, Jean, Sloan, Apex, it's all about infrastructure. Once the infrastructure comes, we need Chad's help. But once that infrastructure comes, there's a ton of opportunity there. So
Great.
How long did that take you to do the rezoning?
As
Should I
he
not have asked that
smiles,
question?
he smiles.
it
Yeah.
was 4 neighborhood meetings. So that delayed it a little bit. But it was a 8-9 month process. So.
Yeah, usually you're doing an amendment to the master plan and then the zone change. So and we like to say about 120 days, but things happen in the midst of there. Just real quick, I know Councilman Barone joined the audience. I just don't know if anybody saw him walk in. So good morning, Councilman. Again, I just wanted to say hello. So opportunities within the commercial retail.
The retail side of things, I don't think you're going to see too much new retail development in the near future, outside of the maybe bigger box grocery retailers, single tenant retail, obviously the Costco in the Southwest off the 215 in Buffalo, potential Walmart coming online up in your jurisdiction there in North Las Vegas. And it's just because land costs are at all-time highs and construction costs are still really high. And so the rent that developer needs to achieve and then pass it off to a retailer who most retailers, their sales are declining here in Southern Nevada, and not just here, but throughout the country. And so they can't pay the most they've ever paid in rent per square foot here. And so there is just a disconnect there. I think the real opportunity, especially with brokers, and I know I got a couple of my biggest competitors in the room here, but the interest rates, there was so much debt placed in Las Vegas in retail in 2021 and 22 that is coming due. It's all on 5-year term, and that's all happening now, 2026. And so it's just tracking debt and reaching out to owners and say, hey, would you look at an off-market offer? Don't necessarily try to get the listing or anything, but owners are going to have to do something here in the next 6 to 18 months, and a lot of them don't want to infuse a bunch of new capital into a deal, and they still have plenty of equity in the deal, and they could sell that asset. So
Yeah, and
that's where I think the
it's-
opportunity is. And for actual retailers and restaurants, Vegas had such a boom, 2000 to 2006, and a lot of these really cool big restaurants are on 20-year leases. Well, that's today, and a lot of them have a 6 to 9 month window that they got to give the landlord notice if they're going to renew or not, and they're in an inefficient old prototype from 20 years ago, and so they usually want to downsize, and they usually want to pay less in rent than what their option period is, because they've had increases every 5 years. And so it's even tracking some of these restaurants that are on 20-year leases coming due. A lot of them are still good real estate, and there's plenty of other retailers and restaurants looking to expand in Vegas that could come in and take those locations.
Opportunities for redevelopment. I just know, just even like some of the Chick-fil-A's, right? They just basically tore down existing stores back in the day when they entered the market, just to create that prime location for them. Flame Jumper, in the Northwest on Durango, and I forget the other, but they used to do the chicken dance over on Best of the West, where when they took that particular building down. I think it's infill development, and we talked about it too with what's happening within City of Henderson, within their redevelopment area. For City of North Las Vegas, our redevelopment area is well. It's taking some of that city-owned dirt that we purchased, over many, many years, and to finally have great interest in developing within our downtown. We couldn't be more excited about bringing additional retail and commercial opportunities to both our downtown with Agora as a developer, with NSU building a 30,000 square foot building, and the additional retail that will hopefully follow that. Now I know he's going to tell me I need to get this closer to my and then even with the old Texas Station and Fiesta Station, right? We've got the Fiesta will be a commercial development with a neighborhood grocer, and your typical inline grocers are retailers as well. But then it's more of the experiential with what's going to happen over on the Fiesta side. If I could show you slides and plans and things that are happening over there, it's that could be another discussion in and of itself with the exciting things that's going to happen on that site, and just basically bringing services to our community, that much needed services. We are super excited and just kind of forward thinking, and and hopefully we'll have our version or chicken and pickle in North Las Vegas versus with what's happening out in West Henderson. Everyone's crushing it, and so it's finally our turn. And it looks like the star, sun, and moons are all aligned. Where we're finally having some great opportunity within our city. So.
But you're also, I mean, a big point of that too is just finally the residential development coming.
Yes.
The Thule Springs, the other developments, the expansion of the 215 essentially being done now up in North Las Vegas. The Nellis Air Force Base, Creech, Nevada Test Site. I mean, they're just getting more and more government workers and military families that want to reside up in that particular area, and so you've now have the density to be able to support these retail services.
Right. Yeah, and hopefully just more will come with the, as that additional land becomes released over time. You touched on earlier, Jason, on Placer, and so I just wanted to toss out the question is, what is AI? What is the impact of AI in how you all carry out your day-to-day business, and the impact on the market?
I don't use it enough. There's a guy, Sean Margolis, in my office who's probably not here because he's playing with his AI. But wow, he uses. I mean, it's an amazing tool, and definitely just great to have it in your tool chest when you're trying to get deals done. Placer is obviously a great opportunity. Every retailer, before we even really look and home in on a site, they want to know. What the other foot traffic, like how many people are in that corridor. The Placer can show you, you type in a restaurant, it'll tell you how long somebody was there, how many people were there, where'd they go to afterwards, where were they before. It's all linked back to your smartphone, so that's already your account with Verizon or AT&T that's already got your full demographic and household and everything lined up in it, so you get this nice little 7 to 9 page report, and it really shows the how that store should perform and how the competitors are doing in the corridor. So that's a great one. And then, obviously the chat, GTP, Claude. I mean, it's amazing that you can throw a rent roll like into AI and put a couple assumptions in there and say, if I think that there's a likelihood that this tenant's going to renew at 50% in 4 years from now, and they're probably going to pay 80% of what their obligated rent is, showing what my projected cash flow is in year 5, and that's out like that. Wow. That's a pretty amazing tool right there.
Scary stuff. Yeah. I mean, just with Placer and just being able to watch, on our smartphones going from store to store to store. That's just scary in and of itself. I know we're getting short on time, so we can move on to some other questions, unless you wanted to add what you're using as far as AI, social media within
Interns. I'm using interns now. I mean, there's different office tools that we use. I think AI, CBRE has its own AI that, I use for certain things, but there are programs that, different ads that we use or a program that is ad-based and it comes up on your phone. It's crazy what your phone hears. So if someone's saying office building looking in Las Vegas, we get a database, or we get everybody who's clicked on this advertisement, and it's all the way up the top to the CEO. So it's basically giving us information on actual people, their actual contact information, email and phone. So that's pretty cool, and we've used that, or interns have helped us use that. So I go back to interns. Exactly. I'm old. I'm dating myself.
There's a lot to unpack there on the AI side. At Avison Young, there's been a big push internally to, we call them market intelligence. They office in Chicago, and we have a regional person in LA. So any kind of data reports that we need, such as rail, fuel, workforce housing, we pose all the questions. It's my understanding they have over 80 subscription services that they gather data from. Once they gather that, we could hone in specifically regionally, Nevada, Southern Nevada, Henderson, North Las Vegas. Interesting, we ran this report, one about 2 weeks ago, and it was about fuel cost. And it alerted me that they are shutting down the refinery in Long Beach the end of this year. We got 2 refineries on the West Coast. The second refinery is in the Bay, a Valero refinery. That one's closing down in 26. So fuel prices, everything stays status quo. At the end of 26, AI was showing us how fuel price is going to shoot through the roof. So these are things we're unpacking with these tools, and you go down a rabbit hole looking at the refineries, but
That's a heck of a rabbit
and where we're
hole,
going to
man.
get fuel.
Were you deciding like on a family trip whether you're going to drive or fly and just try to see where gas price is going to be?
No, it's for trucking, like
Yeah.
logistics-wise. And how are we going to do it, rail or fuel?
Yeah.
So it's bringing so many tools and data that we could show value to our clients through these new AI tools. It's impressive. So.
No, I am also of an older person here on the panel. I just recently downloaded ChatGPT to my personal phone, so my persons that I work with, not on my city cell, but I actually asked ChatGPT this question, and it came back with Placer. That Placer was, the most used AI tool that brokers are using today. So,
I mean, I know I'm a broker, and a lot of times we're full of crap, but you didn't believe me on that? Like,
I did that.
Placer's legit. Yeah.
I did that before.
Yeah.
So but it's just like it is pretty crazy, and it did come back instantaneously. And
Yeah.
I think I'm a fan of ChatGPT, and we'll be using it some more. So. I wanted to talk about, just how brokers, how y'all partner with municipalities and economic development agencies, and how we can help you to attract business and drive growth. I think that's more, I'll talk to that one a little bit in the sense that, any of us that work in economic development in any of the municipalities, whether it be from the state, GoEd, LVGEA, or the municipalities, we're here to help you. We're here to help you drive deals. We want to do whatever we can do to help complement you and get deals across the finish line. Our elected officials, Mayor Goins-Brown actually came in and met with a company that was in the market touring just this week. And just to be able to have that open door policy, any one of our elected officials will do that. And then again, depending on the scope and the magnitude of the client, if there's an opportunity to meet and greet with the governor, I know we can make that happen too. So it's just always just kind of keep that in your back pocket, that you're not alone in getting your deals done. This is what y'all do all day long, and you do it very well. But if there's an opportunity for us to just further complement the deal, I would say, my tagline is use and abuse us, but okay, don't really do that. But we're here to help you, and we want to do that. I will use a quote from someone who I admire very, very much, who has said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So let's go together. And I will attribute that to the lady sitting over there. So, so it's just, and then Chris, I know you just recently went out on a tour and kind of did a windshield tour with Perry within our office, and just kind of, it's just through a different lens, right? Just what we look at versus what you look at?
Absolutely. So, the way I look at it from the broker's perspective is it's up to us to reach out you guys, we're all in this together here in Southern Nevada. You guys are an extension of our team. By getting in the car with Perry, you know, he brought a whole new perspective. I'm taking drives. I'm focused on specs for my clients. He showed where the workforce is at. You know, what's happening with Tule Springs. I don't get over there. There's no industrial space.
Right.
So he's shown, opening up my eyes to the school. There's a new tech academy. I had no idea that that was out in North Las Vegas, and I had no idea they're building another one in Henderson. Didn't know about any of this. So it was an education tool for me. But look, you'll see some of the slides going by. Economic development has been, like I said, a teammate of ours, Brittany West, who's part of your team. You'll see Alton Industries on the slide. So when she was at Henderson, before she moved over to North Las Vegas, she helped me put that deal together. I had headquarters that was moving out of Chicago on Roseman University land. There was 4.75 acres right in the middle that we needed to acquire from the city of Henderson. My client, he says, we need a second option. I don't trust the cities. I'm from Chicago. They can't get anything done. I say, things are a little different here in Southern Nevada. Bear with me. So we did go tie up a piece in North Las Vegas, by the way, as a secondary. But Brittany and her team over at the city of Henderson put the deal together, and it was a lot undertaking. It was a zone change that was required. It was, you know, getting Roseman on the same page to close at the same time. There was a lot of things we had to unpack there, and hats off to Brittany.
Yeah.
And then the city of North Las Vegas. So you land Brittany, and then you land Perry. I mean, I don't know if anybody's a Dodger fan, but that's like landing Mookie Betts and then Ohtani right after that. It's like, how does that happen? And then, you know, city of Las Vegas, working with Ryan Smith when he was there, and that team when we brought out all the land for the Shea Estate. The first thing we did was called Ryan and had a team meeting. And really it's, look, we're in this together. What do you want to see with the city, right? Our buyers that are going to come, they're going to talk to you. How do we work together and move Tony Shea's vision forward? So there's a lot of collaboration between the cities. And Liz Lopez, there's Nancy J up there. Actually, it's on the screen now. This was her out, boots on the ground, marketing, 40,000 square foot manufacturing. She's the one that touched that buyer first. So there's a lot of collaboration all across the valley.
Yeah, no, we stay pretty involved, and yes, Brittany was an amazing amazing human to land over on our team, and we could not be more lucky for that. But it's just like we get very involved, and you know, your clients come in, you might be done with them, and they've landed, but now they're our corporate citizen, and we want to help collaborate with them, and then have them work within our community, and just be a true business partner. I know I mentioned I was going to talk on Apex, and I need to share some information, just some timely information in the sense that it just happened yesterday. I don't know if anybody follows Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and with what transpired within Washington, D.C. yesterday, but she took and I'm going to read this so I get it right, the Apex Area Technical Corrections Act to the floor, and it passed yesterday. So now it is on its way to get a final signature from a guy who sits behind a desk that hopefully will sign it into law that will basically enable us to use that BLM utility corridor as it was intended to, removing some red tape as far as development opportunities so we can get deals done faster. Where all of us have all had to go and approach BLM separately, and they get their stack of paper, and it goes to this person, this person, this person. So whether it's us as Water and Sewer, NV Energy for power, landowners, if you're trying to cross an easement, basically this bill will decrease your permitting time, saving developers, projects money, creating jobs just so we can get to market quicker. And so pretty incredible that just happened yesterday. So need to share that, and it's just a great way, I think, kind of to end the panel. I don't know where we're at on time. I can keep going. Or Dan, if you've got questions, but I'll use that as my mic drop on some great information that happened.
about Apex. Jared Luke has done a lot of work on that. And the first question then is for Chris on Apex. What is that going to do you think, for the potential tenants and buyers, and are data centers a real thing in Apex?
Data centers is a real thing. We need infrastructure. Once infrastructure is there, we're getting passed up on because of the lack of infrastructure. We need stuff that's ready to go. So we need to make that investment, and trust me, we'll land it. We get on monthly calls with our industrial guys all across across the country and Canada, and they're just going to where it's readily available.
And you're speaking of power mostly.
Power mostly, yeah.
Our breakfast sponsor's doing a great job trying
He's still here. He hasn't left.
And here's the thing, Dan, our workforce is only like 4.5% on manufacturing, for example. This is a huge, our manufacturing is going to go through the roof with, our skilled workforce. City of Henderson brought that in, right, with Haas Automation, CSN, and Henderson. They partnered up, and they're training their workforce right now. So we need power. And it's our sponsor. What a coincidence.
Terri, Mayor Joyce Brown had a question. She wanted to hear more about the 2,000 acres in North Las Vegas and UNLV's land next to it.
Wow. Yeah, no. It's our final frontier. For those of you that know, our disposal boundary for with BLM, or our city boundary, is just east of what is being developed right now with the villages at Tule Springs. So we're affectionately calling this next frontier, 2,000 acres, 3,000 acres. It could be, depending how other land that we want to pull into it, it could be upwards of, say, 5,000 acres of land. But it is we are being smart. We are working on, we talk about land use and how do we see that land being developed? It is for us, it is the last large swath of land of its size within the valley. So it will be designed for residential. It will have set-asides for parks, schools, your normal, public purpose. This will be someone told me the other day, well, it'll be your Summerlin, right? It's the same size. Not really. Summerlin's 30,000 acres. This is 3,000 acres. But yes, it will be our Summerlin. This is where we're going to have a great opportunity for new homes, for workforce and our residents. This is where, we will have, in conjunction with the 135 acres, it's because that land is being thrown into that. This is going to be our hub. This is going to be where, this is why I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, because I got to get this done. I got to be part of this. And yeah, yay me. But it's exciting times, and all of you will have, I would hope to have some involvement in all of that. It's not going to be heavy industrial, so sorry. That's not the plan for that. But could there be some light version of industrial? Could there be working with the federal delegation back east? Could this be the Porter Group bringing, maybe some, government type contracts, bring some high rise. Let's have our regional headquarters, national headquarters. I see towers being built in downtown Las Vegas, towers being built up in Summerlin. It's, let's have some towers, maybe not too tall where the Air Force won't get too upset with us, but, just to be able to have some mid-rise and provide services for our community. So thank you, Mayor, for prompting on that one as well. Dan?
One of the questions came in. We hear about the landfill a lot and all the headwinds, and it seems to fail almost every year. Do the brokers, is there a push for infill BLM auctions to happen more often? Or I know home builders are behind a lot of it, but do you have a push for more land being released from your seat?
Yeah, Dan, you could actually nominate a piece of land as long as you pay for the studies, and it will go in the next auction. So we are seeing that.
Explain that a little bit.
So you could, any developer or any buyer, you can nominate, through aviation, a piece of property, and hopefully have it in the next auction. You're just going to have to go and pay for those studies ahead of time. So surveys and so forth.
Studies, the surveys, the appraisal.
Within Clark
Yeah.
County specifically, right? Just with their aviation land? Is that what you're?
Similar process with BLM and Clark County,
Yeah.
just different jurisdictions. But yeah, I mean, you can especially in the Southwest with the amount of aviation land and even the infill 5-acre BLM pieces. You can nominate that. You pay for the surveys, the studies. There's no guarantee that you're getting. You still have to do, bid against it, but at least you got to do some additional diligence outside of it coming to be an opportunity to be bid on.
Right. And then at the end of the day, then those projects do come to the municipalities, and then the governing body then does approve that land nomination that goes to the BLM, and then they start their process. They'll do their surveys, and then they will put it up for auction. So it still takes about 12 to 18 months. BLM's doing a better job as far as, they used to have like a spring and winter sale. Now they're trying to just do January, July. So there is cyclical BLM land auctions happening. And unfortunately, within North Las Vegas, we don't have that infill BLM land that some of the other neighboring municipalities enjoy.
And the last question, you can take them all, but Tonya, would you be up for a reed roast for a breakfast next year?
Oh, yeah, I'll be the moderator.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry. You can finish with some of your questions.
Yeah, no, I think we're close to the end. I think we basically, just kind of maybe a closing. I'll use this one just for economic development. If you could change one thing, and I think Chris, you talked on this, just as far as maybe, speed. But if you could change one thing about the economic development process to make deals move faster, what would it be? Please be kind in your response.
I want to go out on a high note.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to pass this one. No,
that's okay. But I have another one. You can go out on a high note.
I'll take it. Yeah. So when I got started in the business, over 20 years ago, we used to physically bring down over the counter, submit plans, submit for special use permit, zoning, and somehow with all the technology, and I know we've grown, and I know it's not one, you're going to be able to solve this with one answer, but there's how do we get together to speed up that process with our technology now, right? I was sending faxes and handing over plans, and it was a shorter process than it is to submit it online. I don't know why it's taking longer. So how do we, and once again, we're all on the same team, so how do we figure this out? Because we got to keep kicking California down and bringing tenants here, bring buyers here. How do we speed up the process?
Yeah, and I think it's the involvement of ourselves in some of those deals. So if we can be there to kind of help push things along. I know. We've kind of acted as like the ombudsman, if you will, on some of the projects. If we can help kind of unstick something that might be stuck, then that's a phone call. But yes, I remember seeing people roll in their carts with all their plans and 13 copies, and we killed a lot of trees back in the day. And then with the onset, with COVID, and then now just with digital uploads. So I think with anything, it's a trial and error. At the end of the day, I'd like to say that online plan review and the ability for developers and civil engineers and contractors to be able to peek in and see where their plans are and have that conversation. And it's just all about communication and how we can get a project to the end and across the finish line. So we're here to help you, and I hear you, and so we'll go from there. So okay, and ended on that one. Just as far as a bold prediction about the future, what do you see happening? What do you want to happen? What would be the coup de grace? Just to be able to say, you were part of that. As you go into end 2025, go into 26, what's your bold prediction for the Valley?
Can I have two?
Sure.
Bold predictions? So
You can take Chris's. Now go.
I believe that Hughes Center will sell, but obviously it will.
Part of it did yesterday. Part of it did yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Yeah.
But that it will remain office, which I think, that's the big talk, is it going to be redeveloped into residential or buildings going to be knocked down, but it will remain as office. And then my other bold prediction is that a new hospital system will come to Las Vegas, maybe in North Las Vegas, with all the land. So those are my predictions.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Great. As Dan asked the question, I think it's manufacturing. I think that as I mentioned, is 4.5% of our workforce. The average is 8.5% across the country. I think we're going to take off. We're going to be building a lot more stuff here in Southern Nevada.
Yeah, and then those are going to come and they're going to stay. They're going to be here.
Absolutely. With the school opening and, you know, us training that workforce, that's on the horizon.
Yeah,
So-
and Haas being in the market, it absolutely will be an attractor for other businesses. So, and the spillover, you know, for the entire valley will happen. So, looking forward to that one.
My prediction or
Bold.
just curiosity, it's bold. It ain't happening this year, but Prim needs to become a true border town. Like, I mean, it's a joke. And hopefully nobody from the Prim family is in here, but yeah, with Harry Reid, you know, being the most ingress and egress point in all of Nevada, number 2 is right there at State Line in Prim, and that don't look like even Mesquite, Laughlin, South Lake Tahoe, or anything. It's got nothing, and that right, 300,000 plus vehicles a day, more and more imports and manufacturing coming along the I-15, being so close to the 2 busiest imports with Long Beach and LA port. It blows my mind, and then here we are with, you know, eventually we didn't even talk about with Brightline. We're going to zip that thing 200 miles plus to Victorville, and nobody's talking about getting 25 to 30 miles of infrastructure just past Sloan to Jean and Prim. But it's slowly starting to go that way too, and I do think it's a need as well. And to me, it just makes too much sense, and we all laugh when we drive back from our road trips on, wow, this is welcome to Nevada. So.
So I will say Savage is actually putting a transloader in Jean. It's going through the permit process right now. And I
toll,
think,
right, with Toll.
And Tolls is- yeah,
as well.
Tolls is
So I mean,
holding
yeah,
too.
it's coming that way. So
you're going to see it,
Yeah.
and most likely industrial, but it's
Yeah.
coming.
yeah. And so I mean, yeah,
Airport.
so even from the airport potentially, and widening the 15 just for commuting and trucking. Throw 4 exits in between Jean, the Prim,
Easy
and
peasy.
that's 4 new C-stores at every corner. That's 16 just to get to Prim, and then there's 2 new grocery stores and apartment projects and residents, and boom. Yeah.
Don't forget about Buc-ee's.
Yes, Buc-ee's is, hey, whoa, I said that offline.
Come on,
Working on
there's
that, yeah.
competitions
Yeah.
out here.
I know Matt is here with the hook to kind of shut us down. So I just want to say thank you. I've had fun. Thank you for believing in me that I could pull this one off. Thank you, Tonya, Chris, and Jason for your participation. I've always learned a lot. Again, all the years that I've been doing things, I still say I'm a sponge and I'm just soaking up information. So I've learned things here this morning myself. I hope you all have as well. And thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Well, there you go.
Hello.
There you go.
All right, there we go. I don't ever want to shut you guys down. You guys did such a great job today. One last round of applause for our panelists. Thank you again to NV Energy for sponsoring our program today. And I hope to see you all at our July 17th breakfast program, same place here at the Orleans. And thank you all for coming on a holiday. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you.